Ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I just got my computer back up and running, and so I didn't have time to pull up all my fancy frames because I wanted to get the word out. Now, I don't know, I've had hacker problems for like 2 days, and then they were talking trash on Twitter. Somebody said something about GSM, which is Grand Solar Minimum. I don't know, I don't follow any of the other channels. I know that Dutch does what Dutch does, and SO does what SO does, and I do what I do. And so I guess people get jealous. But, you know, I've been handsome, cool, and funny my whole life, so I'm used to it. But yes, California, you are getting hit pretty dang hard. And the bad news is, if this line comes straight ahead without breaking up at all, it's going to bring a heavy amount of moisture. I mean, this whole thing is a scene, man. This is definitely a scene. Where was I? So much going on. Okay, we're going to look at, is anybody here? I'm now looking at the moisture factor over the next 48 hours. And I want you to notice how for the majority of the time, rain, snow, sleet covers the mountains. And then there's this weird bridge here that pops straight down. And so, as I said, and we talked about all month, the really, really stormy pattern was going to start about the 12th. And how long is it going to last? I don't know, through May. And I've got a weird thing where I'm watching to see if astrology means anything when it comes to Mars entering Taurus, which it should be at about 11 p.m. tonight. So if we see any earthquakes around then we can say, hey, my weird astrology theory was correct. But if not, But look at that. This is what we're looking at. So this is the big storm that is heading towards or going into California right now. But this is the biggest major moisture pile in the atmosphere on the planet right now. And the magma hotspots are heating up, which is bad news. And so we're watching the moisture move around in the path of least resistance, the heat. This Johnny was able to break through. Good job, Johnny. Yeah, the big storm on the East Coast is now over, but there's definitely probably about 48 hours worth of problems for California, and we will continue to watch. And I wouldn't call it off until the jet stream itself stops pumping out moisture. Now, here's the thing: is on this last year they added this is precipitable water, and last year they added the pink because we're getting a lot of heavy rain. The rain rates are increasing. And so earlier, when this giant atmospheric river was flowing towards California, it had a few blobs that pulsed in pink. It may sound sexy, but it's not. It's dangerous. And so if it repulses in the pinks right before it hits the coast, we could see some eye-popping totals. Bring it on. Well, Pacifica, you were there. Hey, Tyler. Hey, Amber. Hey, Fisherman. What's up, Mitch? Where are the females at? They're all around my cage and they can't get in. Well, hello, North California. So I'm just showing you guys that this thing right here, earlier, it was showing that the pink, although it pulsed back down to the brown. And so we'll have to watch how this pulses, before it hits. But no matter what, now let's go to the thing that I'm really obsessed with is watch how, so this is your moisture stream. And let me put 2 over. Man, I should have found the thing before I came over, but I did not. Okay, so here's your moisture stream, right? So I'm guessing that that is what is heading towards California. Now, let me see if I can find it real quick. What I'm looking for, go 17, go 17. Where are you? Go 17. All right. Let's go to this RGB, shall we? And I'm sorry that I'm not fully prepared. I've been dealing with hackers knowing me online for like 2.5 days. And so as soon as I got my computer back up and running, I popped this baby up there. Okay, here's what I want to show you. So just look at this, man. I'm gonna let this hang out here for a second. So there's your, look at that. Your giant moisture pack is right there near Australia. But it apparently seems to be a giant bridge of the biggest atmospheric river ever. And so we won't know how long the storm will last, I don't believe, until this moisture stream ends. But I mean, that's pretty amazing what we're watching here. And I wish I could have been talking about the storm while it was going on, because it looked like a dinosaur attacking the coast for a while. Look at that thing. That is wild. I mean, that is incredible. And so it's like, as you can see, it doesn't stop, man, or ma'am. Happy Valentine's Day, baby. Boom. Okay, let me click back over. I like saying hello to people. All right, what do we got here? More snow. Washington, yeah, has broken major records. Thank you, wake up. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm sorry your house got destroyed by Hurricane Michael. How has the recovery process gone for that area? Mendocino getting hammered right now. Yeah, I call him as I see him. And usually if I make the video every day for 10 days before a storm comes here, I'm concerned about the overall situation. And so I'm in Russian River, Santa Rosa area. This rain is crazy. Wave after wave after wave. And so this is why I've been concerned since I saw it printed in the models. But now the fact that you've got this giant rain band, they're connected, but whatever's going on near Australia is fascinating. Here's a funny story. That's not that funny. I wish I could put it. But so, let me go back to this frame. Wait, where was I? So there was this guy, I saw a guy talking about how they have some quantum supercomputer in Australia, and that to cool the quantum supercomputer down, it's like negative 20,000 degrees temperature or some shit, right? To cool the quantum computer down, because computers get hot when they run really fast. And so, coincidentally, if we will kick on over to, because I don't know, it's the whole thing whether we want to believe in geoengineering or flat Earth. I guess flat Earth doesn't apply. Or like you think that mankind can control Mother Nature? Like, man, the earth is so big. No man and no group can control the elements. You can't control all fire. You can't control all heat. You can't control all lightning. That's not how it works. Right. So here's my point. So actually, this has gotten smaller. It was like 4 times bigger. But so in the area where it's like negative 20,000 degrees, like over here, I don't know, probably it's just a coincidence that Australia has seen major heat and their flooding is like level Harvey-esque. And so, we're at one of those things where, science never does anything wrong. Like they can literally work for the oil companies for 130 years, helping them extract the oil and then turn around and blame us. It's kind of like the Catholic Church, that the Spanish Inquisition didn't really hurt its brand much. And no disrespect, a lot of Catholics I know are super cool, but, the church has made some major mistakes in the past, in my mind. Same along with science. And so if you have a bunch of greedy engineers and accountants, I don't know. I've heard a lot of the D-Wave stuff, and I've heard a lot of the quantum stuff, but you got to keep your vibration and your intent real good and real solid if you start messing with godlike levels. It's 2019. Nobody listens to anybody. Everybody's angry all the time. Oh yeah, and I got super fucking depressed because I felt like a total failure. So if any of my haters are listening, that should make you happy. And I'm a light one because I've literally been jawboning at everybody since 1999 about how fucking fucked our economy is. They're like, the way it's all set up, it's just fucked, man. It's a horrible system, and they're all bad. And so, yesterday was Catch $22 trillion day, where our national debt hit $22 trillion. So I've been talking about the debt since it was at like $4 trillion. And now we're at $23 trillion. And I don't know if you know this, but every single fiat currency in the history of mankind has hyperinflated and exploded at about the 45, 43 year mark. And there have been 33 of them. And it happens when presidents, kings, or emperors print way too much money. And then the money depreciates and devalues in a 7-day period. The currency literally explodes. It's like Monday, a loaf of bread cost you $2. Tuesday, the loaf of bread cost you $5. Wednesday, the loaf of bread cost you $100. Thursday, the loaf of bread cost you $10,000. Friday, the loaf of bread cost you $1 million. Saturday, the loaf of bread cost you $1 billion. And then, then by then, society has totally broken down into lawlessness and violence becomes the currency. Okay, what we're talking about. So yeah, here's the major storm that we have going into California. How's my audio doing? And the sun's been freaking out. And so here at Thor News, A, I don't think anybody knows everything. And B, I think we're dealing with a whole lot of shit, man. And so, whereas I partially agree with the grand solar minimum, I think it's also the star field, and it's just a lot of stuff. And planetary angular orbital momentum. And so, on that, it definitely looks like the sun is about to get active again. Look at the sunspot. That's definitely a sunspot, although they don't count them as sunspots until they are Earth facing. But we are entering the wild time period. And usually when the sun acts weird, Earth weather acts weird, and then people act weird. Okay, let's get back to California. Yeah, so this is the major moisture stream that is going in. And so that I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that is they manipulate the weather for sure. And that nations are at war in one way, shape, or form. Until we get to a point of peace, nations are totally at war. Currency war, social war, whatever. And so, yes, as the CIA and FBI pointed out 2 years ago, nations can and will attack each other with weather. But have talked to a lot of people off the record, man is not in control of this shit, dude. I mean, the big thing they don't want me talking about, that I don't really talk about that much, is because it's scary, and if it gets to a certain point, nobody wins. It's like Yellowstone. I don't make videos on what happens if Yellowstone supervolcano explodes. Why? Because we'd probably all die. And so that's not a very good video. I'd put a video up and I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, if Yellowstone volcano had a major super eruption, we'd all die. And the video would be over. And then everybody would be in like a, oh, damn mood. So there's no real point for me to make that video. But my whole point is that they are worried about the ocean heat, but more importantly, they're worried about the acid level content. Okay? So for people out there who think that like, oh, they're geoengineering everything. Well, bro, okay, so yeah. What you do is you fill the waters with acid so nothing can exist on the planet, and then you win, right? Is that the big geoengineering end game, bro? I mean, maybe if they're like acid reptilians who can only live and swim in acid water, then sure, I guess. But if we're being geoengineered by aliens, there isn't shit I can do about it. Except for try and destroy them with humor. What was I talking about? Okay, now I'll take some comments. I've been around, man. I've been boots on the ground talking about the end game for 20 years. So I know spring chicken. And the main reason I started talking about weather is it seemed like the safest place to talk about without getting mixed up into politics. And hey, I could be wrong, but I'm saying I try to tell you exactly what I believe to be the truth without getting anybody in trouble. Did something hit the sun a few days ago? There was a weird frame in the SDO that, but when the sun went dark, meaning where they handed you a negative frame or just a blank frame, but in the middle of blank frame, there was like a tiny little sun. And I'll have to go back and find it. It was very weird. And with Comet, whatever, coming around, a lot of times we see little sun divers. But I haven't seen, let me show you where I'm at. And I would just like to say, Happy Valentine's Day to Emma Watson, Selena Gomez, and Amelia Clark. I love y'all's work. I think y'all smart, and y'all are cute. What's it talking about? All right, here we go. That's not what I was looking for. Doom, 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 doom. Okie dokie. Boom. Now, how do I do this? Come on, damn it. Isn't there like a slideshow feature? So what we're going to do now, for about 5 to 7 minutes. Damn slow computer. I guess I shouldn't cuss it. That only reinforces negative behavior. Alright, so these are all over the last 14 days. What we're looking at here at Thor News is auroras. And that if there is one thing of all this craziness that actually brings me hope, it's all the weird sky stuff. I don't know, man. I can't get scared of amazing colors in the sky. Although, if you do want to get into the Nibiru Planet X mythology stuff, the worst part from some of those myths are apparently if it did go by, it would make like the worst noise ever. I don't know about you, but I hate really bad noises. It's like if anybody ever puts a bad noise in a movie for more than 4 seconds, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? I don't know if you ever saw the movie with Michael Keaton called White Noise. So the whole movie's like filled with white noise. I'm like, this is the stupidest film ever. This is the worst film I've ever seen. Who's going to put crappy noise in a movie for 2 hours? Apparently those people did. Okay, so it's smoke 'em if you got 'em. And over here we have Steve. Oh, he's the purple guy. And so Steve just showed up. And Steve's brand new. But yeah, the auroras have been lit. And that's partially because, like 40% of the time, for the last year, we've had a Earth-directed coronal hole, which hits us with vast stream of solar wind, which causes the sky to light up. And here you get light pillars and auroras. Look at that thing. It's like Venus and the moon. Oh, that reminds me. The camera goes too fast now. Aren't these cool? I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've seen 2 sundogs here in Houston. Big ones. I got them on camera. That look like a woman. Okay. Hey, look, it's Chesty LaRue. What's that? No, how's everybody doing? Is everybody behaving themselves? Yeah, one of the rules of Astro Fight Club, though, is we don't talk about politics, because that shit don't make no difference. And I've been saying it since I started Thor News, so it doesn't matter who's president. And I don't want to remind people that the main effect of the sanctions on Iran and Venezuela are that oil is now continuing to rise. I don't know if you guys know, but when I used to leave the house and go out every single time I did, somebody would come find me. And we're talking a lot of rich people, some famous people, like very powerful people, oil guys. And one day, this was back in July, some big oil dude came and bought me a drink, sat at my table, I had a bunch of supermodels with him, and he kept demanding that oil stay over $46. I was like, dude, I can't even barely pay my rent. Why are you telling me that I got to keep oil above $46? I don't deal with the price of oil. And he explained that the way the oil companies are all modeled, if oil drops below $46 a barrel, that all those oil companies which have maxed out their loan capacity, then they start to fail. Which I get that. You know, it would be like 2008 all over again. And so at the very end, I said, look, at some point we have to give up oil and move past this oil and war economy, go to solar, and that you oil guys should be front running marijuana like right now. You're going to have to reinflate the bubble anyways. So instead of being so stuck in ritual and tradition, you're going to have to adapt. He didn't like that. He literally slammed the glass on the table, smashed it right in front of me, and then walked off. Anyway, so before the sanctions, oil was at $51, and it got to like $46 for a day or two. And so, you know, it's like Obama really tried to push through solar, and they ended up with like 30 stitches in his face from quote unquote a basketball game. And so it's the same thing with whether Trump is working with them or working against them, that trying to beat that Spain, Austria, United Kingdom, France, Saudi Arabia group that's been in firm power over oil for like 140 years, it's not easy. It's like, let's say you took like the biggest pop star in the world. Let's call her Betty Boop for now. and that if you had to take someone who was very powerful, very rich, and was usually surrounded by yes men, and you had to get them to change their mind and give up one of the main habits they had, it's a hard thing to do. But so that, I mean, that's the good news, is that I'm pretty sure most economies are sick of pretending like we ain't got better technologies than the damn petroleum combustion engine. All right, I probably said way too much. So let's get back to the damn storm. See what the sun does to me? I love the sun, though. Okay, so yeah, here's our major storm. And I am now extra concerned. And that is on top of the concern that I already had when I made 10 videos in 10 days leading up to this thing, talking about the storm. And that kind of looks like Jupiter's eye. What am I doing? All right, so we say Happy Valentine's Day again to Emma, Selena, Amelia, oh yeah, and Jessica Nagiri, if you're watching. Now I'm going to pop over here and then I'm look at the chat. But yeah, so I got really depressed when we were getting hit coming and going from the West Coast and the East Coast. We're no better off at responding to these storms and getting ready for it than we were. And then when the national debt hit $22 trillion, like, what are we doing? My stepdad, who was an extremely smart guy and in the Air Force and a very well-to-do businessman who hung out with a lot of really cool, older, well-to-do gentlemen, he told me straight up it's Occam's razor. They don't have a plan. There's no great, like, demon god running it. There's no great one super unified group. They really don't. Nobody's got a plan. And we see that in Brexit. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And so it's kind of greed and ignorance and stubbornness. And I'll tell you another thing. Having talked to every sector out there at one point in time about that game, it seems like every single time we start to make forward progress, like, all right, we're starting to move forward, another sector pops up and is like, no, I'm the king, you'll do what I say. You know, for a while it was the crypto people, and then for a while it was the nano dust people, and then for a while it was the oil guys, but now it's the hackers. And we're caught in this deep fake news where it's like the extension of 2008, where if you don't mildly do what they say, they can release 50 deep fake news tapes of anything. They can literally take anyone and make them appear to be doing anything nowadays. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys Google the Steve Buscemi, Jennifer Lawrence Oscar speech, where they put Steve Buscemi's face over Jennifer Lawrence during her speech. And it literally, if civilization stands, it's going to change the justice system. And remember, for like 3 or 4 years, I worked as an audiovisual guy for some of the top lawyers in Texas. I worked on some major trials. One trial where I was the only video guy there was actually an arbitration. It was like a $30 million arbitration. And so, when I was here, the Democrats or Republicans saying, he's going to jail, or she's going to jail, or she's going, it's like none of y'all have ever been in a court. So, at least that's what it feels like. And so what I'm saying is that the fact that almost no video evidence, the deepfake news stuff is going to change everything. And that's why you can't really, I don't know, strange days indeed, man. Okay. I'm all cat chatty. But I've decided that I'm going to come out of my foxhole, which I've been in for like 2 years, in the middle of March. That was the period I predicted a year ago where things are supposed to get better for me. So that's exciting. Although I could probably be coaxed out for the right reasons. But watch how this point here is just kind of gravitating. I mean, I'm extremely concerned about Hawaii. Watching what is going on, there's just some crazy shit going down in the Atlantic and all the oceans, really. And so the thing that made the hurricane thing that hit Hawaii and caused 191 mile per hour winds at the top of the volcano where it snowed, the thing that makes it different is most of the other storms come out of here, and that storm came out of like Alaska and went down. So that's why one of the reasons it was so dang weird. Windy. And so I don't know, man. Okay, so let's play, but just watch. This is wind or wind gusts. Now let's watch in the Atlantic and we'll pull up the. Hey, Dallas. Hey, Valley. Hey, Melissa Morales. Smoke. Oh, yeah, I haven't even lit my cigarette. Okay, I want to go against the grain and say it's okay to have a tiny bit of fear because fear alerts you. You know, like sometimes you're like, oh shit, should I be scared? I know sometimes. So, yeah, definitely don't be scared and we don't promote fear. But sometimes it's okay to be a little scared because that can alert you to GTFO. And I think intuition is real. I know that sometimes my intuition can be totally lit. And so I think the next 2 months are going to be real sketchy. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yohashem. Okay. You know, everybody can. There's nothing more personal than one's belief and relationship with God or whatever name you want to call it. But look at the wind fields that are going to keep coming down into California. It's crazy, man. Yeah, another thing though, just to mention religion, because it feels like a Sunday, I totally believe that grace without works is dead. If all you do is like talk about your faith, but you never do good things, that don't help much. Oh yeah, that's nothing. The models were showing a possible major. When I saw the first run, it had it as 950, which would be like a Category 3 hurricane heading towards England. Where did I put that damn thing? See, that's how I usually, and that's how I am about my faith and Jesus Christ is my King, is that I prefer to show you my faith instead of talking about it. But ultimately, like if at the end of the day, you know, the people who are there trying to sell their personal take on religion in YouTube comments or in YouTube chat, I don't think that's probably the most effective place. But it's free country, so everybody's welcome to do what they want. I just like to do my best to get away from negativity. But look at how that moisture area just gravitates towards Hawaii. Man, I'm all over the place. Crap. Okay, so let's watch the Euro. I'm going to kick it over to rain and start here. Because if you're just tuning in, I don't see an end of the moisture band yet. I mean, so it could be a while. Okay, now we know that it's raining now, and some of the models are taking the moisture band south, which would probably be good because if it continues to go north, It's going to cause some major, major problems in the United States, in California. But here's what I talked about last time. And I ended up being correct. The models have this stopping, and then, so notice by what day does it stop? So it's pretty much cut itself off, just out of nowhere, although it might be because of pressure. It says it's pretty much done from this moisture stream by Friday. Here's why I don't believe that. Way to go. This one. All right. Does this stream look like it's going to be done going to that location by Friday? You think this rain here is going to have reached here within 24 hours? No, I don't. But you can do whatever you'd like to. And ladies, I wanted to say happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great day, and it's filled with romance and fun. Though if you believe in astrology, astrology says that's probably not going to happen. Oh yeah, that was what I want to show you guys. This is one thing. I grew up, and technically I'm still a screenwriter. And so, I don't know, it's easy for me to write shit with astrology, but one of the crazy things, there's like a story going on here. So this is Aries, which is like war. And so in Aries, you have Mars, which is like war. You have Eris, which is like madness, discord, anger, fighting. And then you have Uranus. And so during like 30 hours, 40 hours I was messing with the hackers, and I was depressed. Like Eris, Uranus, and Mars were all super aligned right close to each other. And so energy felt sketchy. But I'm just saying, having Eris in the war zone, it's been nothing but war. Because that's what Eris does. Eris brings discord. And I'd like to remind people that I think it's April 11th. I think Eris will bring us a giant storm in the United States, and around October 11th, we'll get a Category 5 hurricane. So that's how good I've gotten. I'm calling a Category 5 hurricane. I technically called it 10 months out. We will see if I'm correct. But I do it off the Eris alignments. Anyway, and so Chiron is like the healer. I don't know if anybody's ever played the greatest video game of all time. It's called World of Warcraft. Anyway, when I played World of Warcraft, my main was a paladin. And 95% of the time, he was heals. I love to heal people. And then 5% of the time, he was shocking him. And so my point is, Chiron is like a paladin. This represents healing. And so Chiron won't enter this until the 18th. And so I think things will start to get better on the 18th. We'll see, though. It's like I said, that could just be all foo-foo rings and stuff. I mean, I'm not asking anybody to make investing advice or plan your weather events on this, other than the hurricane. But we got 10 months or 8 months to go. But so, recap, here's, like, California isn't even getting hit by the major moisture yet, and this is not showing a breakup in the atmospheric river that the models are showing. Because sometimes the models are either dumb or they're liars, or both. And so, the worst of the rain is yet to come. And that, I would guess, where that model's I mean, look at that thing right there, dude. That is just going to be a situation. And in all the model runs, none of them have the rain bands looking like that. And then this storm is going to increase in size as it moves across the United States. We're definitely in for a stormy period. And I keep saying I'm going to re-chat, and I don't. There's so much to talk about. And I guess what? It may have been a couple days ago. Glitches. And then a meteor hit Venezuela. All right, what do we got going on? Oh yeah, so happy Valentine's Day, ladies. And especially Emma, Selena, Amelia, and Jessica. Where do you go? Oh yeah, I can't hit that. Am I dumb? I gotta get better at live. Where'd I go? How is California doing? I know that when I was, because I've been having problems getting on my computer, major echo in the feed is, how's my audio doing? Well, I mean, I don't know. See, that's where we disagree on the verbiage. They're not technically hiding Sedna. They're not technically hiding Eris. And so that's why by me calling, I mean, I literally called, was it the second hurricane off of the Eris alignment. That's why whenever I was saying it could be a Cat 4, Cat 5, and no other meteorologist that I know, I could be wrong, thought it could get to a Cat 1, Cat 2. And I said this could be a Cat 5 because it was right by the Eris and Earth alignment. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why I keep talking about the go back over to here. And another major science point that I'm still the only person talking about it is that in my previous videos, I've showed that the biggest earthquakes at the East Coast, New Madrid, came when all the gas giants were on the same side. You had 7 volcanoes erupting on the West Coast when all the gas giants were on the same side. And that, so I'm 99% positive that having Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune all be over here has our solar system out of balance. It's called planetary orbital angular momentum, because they're all spinning around in a circle. And so, it's, you know, the weather events are going to be crazy for the next 6 years until Jupiter gets back around here. And then your governments and media are going to be blaming carbon. And the one thing that we know is the video that I put up, and a lot of people, suspicious observers, have done a great job of talking about the magnetic field and magnetic North Pole. But we know that the magnetic North Pole is moving and it is speeding up. And so it can't just be carbon. The weather in the atmosphere is a dynamic process. Very complicated. And, you know, science really had figured out, it was so geniusy about the sun, they would have been able to create solar power that they give to the public. Pretty sure we all know that they have amazing solar power, they just don't want to give it to the people. And, you know, I thought about this the other day, because, like, now my thing is, Saturday nights, I pull a bunch of old movies off archive.org, and then I cut them together, and they're always fun to watch. But so I watched a bunch of ones on nuclear power. And the funny thing was, one of the big selling points of nuclear power was that nuclear power was going to make electricity super cheap. And that's not the case. You know, like, I live in an efficiency apartment. And I think, you know, my electric bill ranges from 80 to 120. And when my contract ran out, it was like $250 for a one-bedroom apartment. Like, I'm one-bedroom thing. The whole thing is like one room and a bathroom and a kitchen. So, you know. But that was how they built they kept promising the people, oh yeah, you guys will get really cheap electricity if you let us put these dangerous time bombs here. And so they did, and then electricity never went down. And that is another thing that I'm so fascinated by, the PG&E thing, the bankruptcy, which I think maybe they know what planetary angular orbital momentum is that PG&E was the first corporation in the world to build and own a nuclear reactor. So my question is to you, ladies and gentlemen, what happens when a nuclear reactor goes bankrupt? That is a good question. But I would also like to take out this time, speaking of my electricity bill, which I did get to pay, by the way. You guys are great. If anybody wants to make a contribution or donation to Thorn Youth, it's how I make my money. And that would be fantastic. Because I definitely want to have a little bit of extra cash for the day after Valentine's Day when boxes of chocolate go on sale for 75% off. And then I'm going to try and get diabetes. And I'm not kidding. Peace sign to you. But hopefully, it's like the end of a movie. The bad news bears. At the very end, when you think they've lost all hope, the bad news bears pull it together, win the game. So I still think that is going to happen. Yeah, I know it looks sketchy. But here's the whole thing. It's like, even if I'm wrong, it's like the people who always come on my channel and leave comments, and they're like, we're all going to die. You can't do anything. It's like, okay, great. So you think we only have a month to live? And so what you're going to do is you're going to go online and then just tell people, you're going to die in a month. Like, that seems like a waste of time, bro. And so either way, I highly recommend having as much fun as you can. And I'm not sure maximizing the contribution to your 401k is the smartest thing right now. Because can you really see the civilization lasting 10 more years without any major overhaul? No. Magnets are super neat. And that's what, one of the things that trips me up about Earth is we're definitely seeing a fantastic causation between fire and ice, heat and volcanoes, and then polar vortexes, and then lightning. And so that's why, it's a little bit of grand solar minimum, it's a little bit of electric universe theory, it's a little bit of science, and then it's some shit we just don't know. That's the craziest thing about social networking. Made everybody think they know everything. I definitely, over the years, have seen that by telling people this is exactly what is happening, this is exactly what is going on, and this is exactly what is going to happen, people eat that shit up. It's one of the reasons people are getting so heavy into politics, is because it's conformity. Right now everybody's into politics. So if you want to be in the big popular group, you got to be angry about politics all the time. What's he talking about? Sorry, this thing blows my mind. I've never seen anything like. I've been doing this for 6 years now. I've never seen a situation like that. And like whatever's going on here is just madness. And think about it, even if it was Planet X inbound, and so they're like, oh my God, we can't tell people because then they'd stop working and it'd be mass chaos. But just the idea that you have to feed people absolute bullshit stories that we have to talk about racism every day, all day. That we have to talk about how horrible men are every day, all day. That we have to talk about how horrible Democrats and Republicans are every day, all day. That is just, whoever's plan that was a dumbass plan, man. Oh, and so we had was it a 4.5, 4.7 earthquake in British Columbia. So I nailed that earthquake prediction, because I said we were going to watch for a strong earthquake, although I'm glad it wasn't stronger. But when the blue moves in, the last time I did this, and you get this Eris-looking mean sea level pressure point and this super crazy ridge, we got the 4.5 off California here. And so now we're seeing 4.7. And then on my crazy, don't necessarily buy into it, Taurus enters, or Mars enters Taurus at 11 p.m. tonight. We could see one, but that's just a wild guess. But look at that. That is correct. These are definitely weird times. And seriously, bring rock and roll back. Oh, and speaking of that, happy Galentine's Day. You know? Ooh. Oh, see? What was that? I haven't even lit my cigarette. Was that an eclipse? What was that? All right. I'm trying to look at the comments. You guys are being great tonight. I just want to get back to a point in the world where we can disagree. And people don't freak out and wish death upon each other. And B, you have to bring back some type of competition. It's like when I talk to people in the music mafia, I'm like, dude, you gotta bring rock and roll back. And they're like, no, we have firm control over all music. And to keep males' egos at near zero, being led around in a leash as their balls are in a mason jar, we can't have rock and roll stirring up guys, reminding them what healthy masculinity is like. You know, we can't have males' confidence restored. We can't have comedy start to sweep through the land, inspiring people to work together and build new things. We can't have that. And so, hey, happy Valentine's Day. Ryan Adams' ex-wife says their relationship caused her not to make as much money as she could have if she wasn't with him. And look, man, I'm a jealous guy. I can be a jealous guy. You know, it's like if your girlfriend didn't come home till 5 in the morning, and you're like, where were you? And she's like, oh, I was with Betty. And I was like, I tried to call you. And she's like, I forgot my cell phone. And it's one of those people who's like, the cell phone is literally always in their hand. Like they sleep with the cell phone. You know, you've never seen them anytime without a cell phone, except for the one time that you don't know where they are. What's my whole point? I'm just saying, like, I've said some super horrible things to some of my ex-girlfriends in super moments of jealousy that were like videotape. I would look like a horrible person. And, you know, I regret it 5 minutes after I say it. And that, I know, but what I'm trying to say is that from the thing, from what I read, none of the shit he did was a crime. You know, it was like where he talked to one girl about helping her write songs. You know, and so we're just getting to this point where the front page story is like, oh my God, Ryan Adams' ex-wife said he was a fucking asshole. And so when it, like, our media is literally becoming an ex-wife media where all you need is someone's opinion without any evidence, and the media will run with it. And BuzzFeed, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Hey, we totally lied to you. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely think we should all, you know, treat each other better. And I am sorry for the jealous times and the horrible shit I've said. And we all make mistakes. It's literally like social networking is there so that we can all crucify the sinners. And the media makes money building people up and then tearing them down. Another funny thing. So the other big media story has been El Chapo. El Chapo, we caught El Chapo. El Chapo's going to prison. El Chapo. And well, my uncle, godfather, Butch, was in Vietnam for 2 tours in the army. And so him and some of his friends, other people I've talked to, apparently there was a big drug running operation going on, whether it was the CIA or who, the MI6, I don't, you know, all together. But I guess the whole point of this, and look at Afghanistan. The poppy production in Afghanistan was at like 2%. And then we went and invaded, and somehow it's back up to like 200%. And so, what I'm trying to say is, the media doesn't always tell you the drug lord stories totally accurately. You know what I'm saying? So, you have the whole media throwing a giant parade for the El Chapo prison shit, and they like literally had the videotape of him going into his bathtub. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, quote Ariana Grande, half of this shit is fabricated. Okay, let's go back to California. So look, the entire coast right now is under some type of warning, whether it be mud scar, burn slide, reverse it, flash flood, flood warning, flood watch. And this is the majority of California, and the snow totals have been pretty impressive all up and down the coast. And so here we're looking at winter storm warnings, high wind warnings, avalanche warnings, and the avalanche deaths in America and in Europe have been higher than average, for sure. And I think California's already surpassed 100% of its rain for the year, or for the month. Yeah, the year would be weird. And so, we've got this heavy rain band of moisture moving in. Look at that just giant, massive chunk. Man, I gotta get my sense of humor back. And so I'm really concerned, and we're really gonna be watching this like a hawk. Because I'm trying not to toot my own horn. Every time I watch my videos and I'm tooting my own horn, I'm never like, wow, that's cool, I'm glad I did that. But I'm just saying, if I usually talk about a storm for 10 straight days, the storm usually ends up pretty big. And not because I'm talking about it, but just because it was there. And so this storm might even overperform what I thought it would do. And I literally I Cranky Weather Guy, whose blog I always recommend checking out. I leave it in the information box. He understands. Sometimes these things are just so beautiful, magnificent specimens that it's hard to look away. And so the main point right now is that this water vapor level seems to be overperforming the model's guessed amount of precipitation. Because as I showed earlier, the models have, see that rain band right there pop, that heavier water vapor flow? But none of the rain bands look like that. Man, that is almost like a guy's sleeve of a button-up shirt. And that's almost literally a rain band from Hawaii. I mean, how many miles across is that? Like 200? 300 this way, and then 1,000 that way? I don't know. Yeah, whatever's going on in Australia. And I'll try and pull some videos tonight so I can edit them for you. But the situation is really bad in Australia. Or as it was 2 days ago. Look at that, it's like the eye of Jupiter. And then look at that giant spiral up there. Man, I got a chicken on you guys. Julia, LOL. I'm out, you guys. Janet, hello. Julia, and that's another thing is, unfortunately, politics always causes everybody to just kind of root for their team, which usually means insulting the other team. And so Kamala Harris admitted that she smoked weed in college. And I was like, hell yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And then the Republicans started freaking out, making fun of her. I was like, whoa, bro, here's where we draw the fucking line, man. Unless you don't believe marijuana should be supported, that if there's one subject that Republicans and Democrats should be able to agree upon, it's that for-profit prisons are fucking evil, and that having marijuana illegal is fucking dumb, and it helps the whole for-profit prison system. And you can have, my mom had a collapsed lung a decade ago, and one of the pills she took was like $10,000. She had health insurance, but so they literally were charging her, or it was like $5,000. But they were charging $5,000 for a fucking pill that cost 3 cents, and they're like, "Oh, we need money for research and development." And so, if there's one situation where I need Republicans and Democrats to be like, okay, yeah, if any of you know that if somebody's going to basically come out and say, you know what, we should legalize marijuana, which she didn't do, but it's a step towards it. That it's got to be one, you know, it's like I told all the oil guys, like I told all the war guys, like I told all the hacker guys, like I told all the crypto guys, like it's one of the parts of if we're all going to come together and make the world a better place and rock and roll is going to get resurrected and we're going to build super cities, we're going to need to legalize marijuana. Legalize the peace pipe, man. You know, there's this thing on Twitter that showed how many times we bombed Syria and Iran in like the last 4 years. I don't know, and we dropped like 1,000 bombs on those fuckers. I'm sorry, they're not fuckers. I just meant not cuz. But what I'm saying is, and so like each of those bombs squad costs like a couple mil, 100 mil, I don't know. But so, and you're literally dropping them on, I'm pretty sure they're faking it, semi-faking areas. But I mean, just to, you got a choice. We can have our nation spread all over everywhere, oil sanctioning everybody. We can have legalized marijuana, and your car can probably run on hemp oil. So, am I echoing? I think if Trump legalized marijuana, he'd be a shoo-in for re-election. But it's, you know, as someone who has told you guys that we are in an oil and war global economy for the whole time I've been at Thor News, it's, you got to get those guys to agree to move to an abundance future. You have to get the blackmailers and the death ray people to understand that it would be better if the world is a better place, and that if we got off a false scarcity economic system, they would even do better. They would be richer than they are now. I don't know. It's so complicated. Legalize peace and then sell it. And I think like gardening would come way back in style. It's one of the things where the 3 places that have been hit hard over the last like 3 weeks have been Indonesia, Australia, and Italy. And I'm really worried about Italy. I've never been, but I got obsessed with Michelangelo for a while, and I think his La Pieta, where the Virgin Mary is holding dead Jesus, it's like one of my favorite artworks. And so one day I wanted to go there and see it, and then eat the ice cream. What's it called? And I know everybody's like, you should try the ice cream. It's so good. And so I'd like to try it. Am I still echoing? But I'm saying I think like kick-ass architecture would come back. Because we have to build new cities, dude. I wish we would start building a new city now. But you're saying they're going to charge more tax, but you can grow your own weed. That's why I was saying that I think gardening will come back in style. And who knows, you might start growing onions and tomatoes and carrots. Yeah, sorry, see, like I said, by hackers, I'm going to get off then if the echo is bothering y'all. I've been having hacker problems for 2 days. One of the guys that was talking shit last night said he was from GSM. I don't know, there are a lot of GSM people, but like I said, I know that I do what I do. Dutch Sense does what he does. SO does what he does. I guess everybody else who is not as good as us, sometimes they're just obsessed with trying to be the best, which is weird in a fucking time where the world is falling apart and literally civilization could come unraveled at any second. But so yeah, I don't know. I don't watch other guys, so usually you hear people talking shit about the people in the community that they got a bone to pick. And I would be jealous of me too if I was not me. But anyway, I'll try and figure out how to not be at echoey because I really don't like the audio. But it's like I was saying, we have to have competition come back. And they don't want to compete, man. And I tried to put a team together. I don't know if you guys know this. In 2015, I got Dabu, Dutch Sense, and Suspicious Observers to agree to come meet me in Austin. We're going to hang out for a weekend. I was going to videotape the whole thing. And then a fight broke out, I don't know, like a month later. Anyway, so like I tried to unite the truth community. It didn't work. Because a lot of people like to treat it like American Idol. Which is weird, because like, YouTube and Google treat us fucking horribly, man. And when I go out, like, I don't know, like 1 out of every 5 or 6 people I ever meet is like, oh, you're Thor News. And I'm like, how do so many people know who I am if I only have 50,000 subscribers? And I was talking about, I've met a lot of famous people, and rich people and names you've seen on TV. They come find me. So I know that my viewership has a wider reach. So he's making fun of my views last night. Like, I get more views than you. And I'm like, well, yeah, dude. I used to be the most censored guy on YouTube until Alex Jones got kicked off. And now he gets that award. And so, I'm just saying, I don't know, I don't compete with anybody. I do what I do. And if you're one of the dicks who hacked, and it's not just me, I know a lot of other people in the truth community have had problems with their live stream audios. I don't know if there are any other GSM guys who go live every single night. They would probably be the culprits, I would guess. I'm not accusing anyone, I'm just saying. Because they want to be the king of the heap. It's American Idol and I'm a win. I'm winning! No, that dude bitching at Dutch, and Dutch is a total badass. Dutch was here before all of us. Anyway, okay. Love you guys. Gotta fix this damn audio problem. Congratulations, whoever this is, for being. Sure. Anyway, look, ladies, happy Valentine's Day. All you ladies. But especially Selena, Emma, Amelia, and Jessica. Alright, stay cool, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.